Check it out, we got a fun problem here. We are looking to find the average rate of change over this interval, -1 to 2. Notice this is also adding to the shadow series of videos where we got some tripod shadows, and of course it's more interesting that way. So, hopefully the first thought that you have when you hear rate of change and you see this right here, you think, well, that function is a parabola. It looks something like that. Okay, that's not the exact parabola, so don't judge me on that, but it looks something like that as a U shape. We know it is going to be a parabola. It's a quadratic. And when you think of rate of change, we're thinking about like the slope of a line. We're like, rate of change is slope, and we find slope when we look at a linear function. So something's going on here that we don't quite understand. So basically, when we're looking at this average rate of change, when it's saying average, it's like the problem saying, look, we know it is a parabola, but we want you to find the rate of change as if we drew a line through the 2 points that's talking about here. So when we hear that word interval, and there's not really a lot of context with it, it's referring to our x values. When our x values are 1 and 2, well, what is the rate of change between those 2 points where the x value is 1 and the x value is 2? And we can find the rate of change between 2 points. We use our slope formula. Ooh, slope formula. So to find our points, we're given the x values, so we want to find when our x is -1, and we want to find when our x value is 2. We want to find out what are the points when x is -1 and when x is 2 for this function. So to find when x is -1, we are looking for f of -1. We're going to put in a -1 for our function. So everywhere we have an x, we're going to replace it with a -1. And we work this out. -1 squared gives us a +1. We've got 3 plus 2 plus 4. 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 4 gives us 9. When we put in a -1, we got out a 9. F of -1 was 9. That is the output when the input was -1. So we have a point. We're going to let that be our first point. And now we need a second point. When x is 2, looking for f of 2 here, we've got 3 times 2 squared minus 2 times 2 plus 4. 2 squared is 4. -2 times 2, we have a -4. 3 times 4 gives us 12, minus 4 plus 4. 12 minus 4 is 8. Plus 4 gives us 12. So when we put in a 2, we got out 12. So we have 2 points now to work with. And so once we found those 2 points, again, we're finding the average rate of change. So we basically want to find the rate of change between the 2 points when our x value is -1 and our x value is 2. So we plug that in. Our average rate of change, our slope m, is going to be our y2, 12, minus our y1, 9, over the x2, 2, minus the x1, -1. 12 minus 9 is 3. 2 minus a -1, well, of course that makes it adding a positive, so that is also 3, and 3 divided by 3 can reduce. The average rate of change was 1. 1, there it was, 1. 1 is our average rate of change between those 2 points. And it just happened to be that beautiful. It doesn't always come out to be such a nice integer value. Sometimes it does.